September 11th was when the Twin Towers went down here in the United States, and it was an attack, right? So as a kid, I remember I was in third grade at the time. I woke up and like my parents were watching the news before school, and like it was like live footage, like the towers were like a bunch of smoke was coming out of the towers, and it's like a plane hit the tower. And I was like, what? Like, when have you seen something like that? Like, never. It was something like totally out of this world.
I was 3 years old. 3 years old. I don't really remember it, but I remember my dad telling me all about it. How his dad called him. He's like, "Hey, turn on the TV." All the stations were, cut off, and they kept showing the plane crashing into each building. And he told me that he said that I asked my dad. He goes he goes that I asked him, "Dad, why would people do that? Why would people do something like that to innocent people like that? Why would someone do something so evil?" And he was saying that how he kind of realized that a 3-year-old had a better mindset than most of the people out here in the world that that were about that lifestyle, that were involved with terrorism.
Just sort of shock, like you couldn't even understand what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Like it was really hard to process it and to appreciate the gravity of what I was seeing, especially having never been to New York, appreciating the significance of the buildings themselves in terms of like the American like ethos and like representation to the world. And just the horror of it, like in the days after. I mean, like it was very shocking. And at the time I worked in Berkeley at a publishing house, and they sent us home for the day after, like at around noon.
And that was a sad day for everybody because so many people lost their lives. And even the first responders that went in, a lot of them lost their lives also.
Yeah.
Terrorism. And so with my generation, it was really, we all know it happened. We don't remember seeing it. We don't remember, the before and after of all of it. But it was very, it really did, knock a hole in the country in terms of security, in terms of profiling.
All the adults are saying terrorist attack, you just go with the flow. But like a plane hit the top of the tower, and then it just like collapsed on itself, like at like free fall rate, and like I don't know if you ever seen like a controlled demolition where like they take down old buildings, but like it falls exactly like that.
Yes,
They fall like that. So the official story is that a plane hit it, or like whatever, two planes struck the towers and then they fell, but it was a controlled demolition. So who put bombs inside the Twin Towers? Was it the men from Saudi Arabia, right? Was that? I don't think so. And then it's like, how did they? Because they were on a suicide mission. Those guys were on a suicide mission, right? So how did they know who they were? Oh, they found their passports like under all the rubble and debris. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's literally what they told us on the news, and like I just don't buy it for a second.
I remember the first TV I ever saw was 16 years old. And they were black and white. There was no color until several years later.
From the time, that I was a kid, like hearing like cassette tapes of the Beatles in my dad's van, to like being able to play any song at any moment, like it's really crazy. I remember when I was in school, like we got like the Apple computers came out when they had like the rainbow look on the Apple and the logo and everything, and like we were going crazy about these computers that like, so like they're like, so this is the front, but then you move and like it's that thick, right, from the back to it's like super big, and it had like
there's so many good things about social media. You stay in touch with your family, let all your friends, family, your peers know what you're doing, what you've been up to, post pictures and videos, and statuses about what you're doing at the time, what your family's doing, what you've been up to. It has so many ups, but it has even more downs. Technology does separate people. It tears people apart because you're all up in your phone. You want to know what your friend's doing. You want to know what's going on. You want to stay updated with current events, be it current events within the government, current events with celebrities, other stuff. But it has torn us apart because no one's used to sitting down and having a conversation with another person, a decent conversation without whipping their phone out and checking their Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever.
It's sort of weird because technology has like brought the world closer, but at the same time, it kind of like pulled us apart. Yeah. Very interesting.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama will be the 44th president of the United States.
I said Barack Obama becoming the first black president. That was definitely a big event. I was a freshman in high school, and I just remember like the whole campaign of like hope and all this stuff, and it really made people feel like something new is coming,
Well, Obama's election was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. It was so exciting. It was so exciting. My husband and I, we didn't have kids yet, and we watched the returns come in, and I was like, we were like toasting, and I was like crying, and I was like, you know what? Like, we should go out. And like we live in San Francisco, and the whole city was like out celebrating.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And we just like went down the hill from where we lived to like Mission Street, and it was just like everybody was like out in the streets, and we took like pictures in a photo booth that I still have like up on my wall. And it was so powerful to elect our first black president and to have that moment of such tremendous hope. It was amazing.
Obama got elected. There was hope for the country. Everyone was happy. The first black president, and a lot. I was happy because that was the first sign of change that our country was allowing that. Because like I said again, it's not up to the people. The country was allowing that. The country was letting that happen. And that was the first sign of change, and I was happy for that. And over time, we noticed, my peers, my family, we all noticed that it wasn't just that, but it was his actions. It was the things that he was doing, the things that, he was accomplishing. And he was living up to a lot of his promises.
Yeah.
And that's when we were like, wow, this is who we really want running our country.
So you find out that, a president has power, but they can't do everything they want,
Yeah.
So I feel like he had good intentions. Some, definitely the Republicans and the government and, Congress and all that were blocking a lot of the things he was trying to do. But a lot of people hated him, to be honest, because for the reason why people loved him, because he was something new, the first black president. So people hated him because he was the first black president.
Yeah.
Goes to show because, like in the 1960s with Martin Luther King and all that, like there was a lot of like inequality going on, serious inequalities, like injustices going on, and like we feel like, oh, we're past that, black people are equal, blah blah. But then when Obama becomes president, you really find out that no, America's still racist. A big part of America's still racist.
Yeah.
And we live here in California, and we don't really get to see that as much as other parts of the country, but it's true. I'll say it's true. But yeah.
No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
Everyone cried in a totally different way that night.
Everyone.
So we'll see what's going to happen there. I guess.
But look at how much is spent in the military and how much is not spent in education. It's totally unbalanced. You know, trillions of dollars go over here, you know, and you have millions, maybe a couple billion here. It doesn't make sense. So I feel like a government that doesn't care about young people's education doesn't care about the future generations. They don't care. You know? Like, how do you make your country be one of the best countries in the world, right? How do you make America great? It's not by spending money on the military. It's by spending money on education, making people become informed. You know, you've always had old white men be president, right? Always. That's the thing, you know? You have to be old, rich, and white to be powerful, you know? If that sounds bad, you know, but that's what the pattern has been, you know? That's what we believe. That's what we think.
When Trump got elected, all of my, you know, everyone that I was friends with, all my family, my friends, people who I hardly even knew, everyone was mad about it. You know, we live in California. Are we going to be happy about a Republican being president? No, everyone was mad. I was mad, but I felt like I was one of the only ones with, you know, the mindset of what's being mad going to do? Yeah. Is that going to take him out of office? Is that going to change how he's going to act? No, you just have to, you know, hope and pray for the best. If we're mad, that really won't do anything to change it. So we just have to hope for the best and hope that he's not going to do what he says he's going to do, because I'm not for that. But in terms of, you know, the people around me, everyone was mad. You know, there were protests, there were, you know, there was a lot of violence that broke out. I forget, there were a bunch of marches and a bunch of violence that, you know, erupted after he became elected, because no one wanted that. But it's like, is being violent gonna take him out? Is being violent gonna change anything?